Hello everybody, this is Jeremy Zaire, and I'm just going to run through today some of the reporting things that you might have to do, maybe when it comes to the end of the year, and possibly even sharing your data with other folks who want to see and run pull reports, get GIS data files out of what you worked on and sprayed this year. So what I have here is I'm logged in with me. I'm an administrator of my group. So I see, everything. And so I'm going to kind of talk through some of the different ways, not only that you can report, but also that you can add people. We have 3 different roles of a person within SpraySync. One is an administrator, one is a sprayer, and one is a reporter. So we're going to talk a bit about the reporter role today. So what I'm going to show here is just some of the ways that you can get your data out and report. Let's say I just want to see all of 2022. I'm going to go and change this date. I'm going to hit filter. And it's going to take a little bit to compute this, but what it's going to show, this up here is just a quick summary of everything through the year. So I've got, kind of breaks out our spraying by the different type. So, you might not have all of these different types, but we have some, for doing spraying with hose reel, might have a particular tracking method that we use. There's overall acres applied, miles sprayed. So it's just like while you're spraying, while you had your sprayer on, how long were you driving? And then total mix applied. If you happen to use the chemical load total mix in ounces per acre, it'll show it here. This actually even summarizes by the weed scene. So those are the buttons that are on the left in the app. It'll break it down by individual spray sections is what we call it, where, you turn on and off a switch once, then that's one spray section. So that'll show up and those will be counted here. That's kind of what these counts are too. It's just an on-off, that represents one. So, and who did the spraying, you'll be able to see a breakdown here. And then by job. So this will, I have a bunch of test stuff. I don't expect most people will have that many done in a job in a year. But, if I want to do any filtering, I want to just see one job. Like let's say there's this particular one I did at a conference this fall. You can hit filter, and then it'll break it down so it's only that one job. And then by user, if you only want to have, an individual user, somebody else, you want to look at just one person, but all jobs, you can do that in there. So I just have all users picked though. You want to go back, just click that. You can uncheck and it'll kind of go back to all jobs. You get back to where you were. And notice whenever it's red, it means that, we don't automatically change. So it'll go red when you've changed one of the filters up top. You just got to hit filter to see it. So this is going to bring up everything. Again, I got my date range. We've got a few kind of nice date limits. You can click on those if you want to just see, particular date range. But for the most part, you can click this and you kind of go back in the date and figure out what you want. So one thing that you can do to kind of preview what you sprayed this year is you can always click over to the map page. So this is a way to preview things before you export them. So, maybe you don't need an export. You don't need to download a KML or a shapefile to open it in a third-party tool. Maybe this is good enough. So what this will do is, this is going to show everything that we sprayed. It'll show it in a little segment, and it'll have date, user, job, everything that was there. So I can zoom out. Some of these things, so the blue ones are also part of the spraying. This is a hose reel point. So again, you might not, your particular county or group might not have done any hose reel, and maybe even you're not tracking the hose reels with individual points, but if you do, they'll show up as a little point there. And this orange one is actually a form submission. So this is wind, temperature, wind velocity. That data goes up on here. So and I can move out, and if I want to see other data, I can probably zoom out, and there's some test data over here. I do a lot of testing, so some of this data might not really be realistic, but it's in here. So you should be able to preview everything here. But ultimately, if you're looking to export this data yourself, that's always one way you can do it. If you like I mentioned at the beginning, you can give somebody else access to this data and kind of invite them to have an account, and then they can log in and they'll see your data. If you choose to, but if you don't want to, you can always download it and send a file. There's unlimited number of users. You don't get charged extra for inviting somebody to see your data. And honestly, I think it takes, it saves everybody time if you don't have to download a big file and then figure out how to send it. A lot of times that's not always easy if it's too big of a file. You can't always attach it really easily if it's gets too big. A lot of the email sending will kind of complain if it's too big of a file. So anyways, so basically you have two options. One, you can download it yourself. So if I want to export what I have here, you'll see quite a few options. So the most common for seeing your spray mapping is a KML file, which if you're familiar with Google Earth, KML file is kind of associated with Google Earth. It'll open up. That's like the easiest way. Google Earth is a free program that you can download on Windows, Mac, whatever you want to view it in, even on a tablet. A shapefile is another format that maybe is for more advanced GIS reporting and data tools. Usually there's some free tools. Like I'll show one that I can use, but shapefiles are a little harder to work with. I feel like KML and Google Earth is kind of the more common way to do it. But somebody who you're talking to about reporting to, you might want to ask like, hey, do you want a KML or a shapefile, and then determine how to do it here. So we also have a way to group it by weed. So I'm going to go through a couple of these downloads. So I'm going to download a KML file first. And you notice I hit the download. It'll jump to this page and kind of say in progress. It's going to refresh about once every 5 seconds or so. So when it's done, it's going to pop up and it's going to have it'll say like status success here. So and then you can click the download button. Let's say it was taking too long and you had to leave and go. You actually don't lose that download if you ever need to figure it out again. You can come back and you can view it. So I just hit the download button and it downloaded here. But like I said, if you want to, you can always hit this tasks tab and it will list what you did, kind of when you did it. So you can actually always come back here and hit download again and get that file. So like we do this kind of download processing in a kind of on the server, and so it can take a little while. So you don't have to sit there and wait with your browser open to like get it. You can always come back here. It'll complete automatically. So it'll run in the background. It'll get done, and then it'll be here. So I just downloaded that KML file. So if I hit that KML file, I already have Google Earth on my computer here, so it's going to launch that up. And Google Earth, if this is the first time you've seen Google Earth, this is all free, so you get this. It's gonna show, kind of what those showing right now. Those are the different like forms or spray points and stuff that I've done. I've done a bunch of testing, right? I'm kind of so some of this is not totally realistic. You're not going to be, some in Idaho and some in North Dakota probably. But all the spray sections are listed over here on the left, and they're kind of ordered by date all throughout the year. You can double click on one of them. And it'll kind of already pops it up, but then it'll also zoom in to like where that is. So this is kind of showing, hey, who did it, what group was I in, start, end, what weeds were there, acres applied, all the things that you're seeing. It even has accuracy in feet there for you to see. So I can kind of double click and zoom in, and you can see I'm doing a bunch of crazy testing here. But I can click on any one of these and see that same information. So you don't need to try and figure out over here. If you want to just zoom into an area and kind of figure out, hey, what was sprayed here, you can always kind of click on that. And there's going to be some goofy rendering things that kind of show up, but you'll see it there. So that's one way to get it. So and this is not the group by weed version. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete this real quick and kind of show what the group by weed option looks like. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go pick 2022. I'm going to filter, just doing all jobs so we can see. I'm going to go export. I'm going to do KML group by weed. And so this is really, those buttons that are on the left side of the app that have the weeds, that's what we're calling, weeds. Some, not everybody actually uses those for weeds. They might do something else, like different categories of things. They might not be weeds, but in the end, whatever is on those buttons that are on the left side of the app that you might hit while you're spraying, that's where this shows up. So I'm going to download this one and get that. And that's going to do the similar thing. But what you'll notice here off to the left is that it's going to group into those different weeds. So it's almost like an extra set of layers or like a subsection. So I could say, if I want to just look at spurge, I'd be able to do that, and that's the only thing that'll show up on the map, and then I can kind of toggle in. And what you'll notice here is also, we've actually taken our colors from the app for the weed and marked them. And so you'll see these different colors. I'm off on the left kind of clicking. So they'll show up with the same color that you give them, the weed buttons in the app, which is kind of nice. So you have that consistency of your reporting. So again, you can go through here and you'll notice that's actually kind of a good choice. I chose one that is, there were 2 weed buttons picked. It was spurge and thistle. Again, test data, maybe it's not realistic, but the important thing to notice about this is that if I zoom in just a little bit, that section I put a bunch of them, right? So that's actually going to show up if I hide leafy spurge and musk thistle. It's actually going to show up here too. So you'll get the same data. If you had 2 weeds picked, it's going to show up on both of these groupings here. So, which is important to not, how do you know which weed was the most important, right? You want to see everything that was marked with that weed across any spraying that you did. So that's a good thing to be able to see there. So anyways, all right, let's go back. So I'm going to go to here. So again, let me jump to here, filter, get back my 2022 data. I'm going to go ahead and hit export, and I'm going to do a shapefile. And again, it's just going to do that. Follow that same process. We'll come over here, do a shapefile, and I have there's a free program that I use. I would say it's rather hard to use, but it's a way for us to view some of the shapefiles. It's called QGIS. We use it on the Mac here. I'm not really sure if it's available everywhere, but so I'm gonna open up QGIS right here. It is, and then I'm gonna drag the shapefile onto here from my downloads folder, the one that I just downloaded, and it's gonna kind of do a pop-up and say, here's what it is. And then I have an OpenStreetMap layer that I already had on there that provides the background info. So again, you're going to see the same kind of thing, right? You're not going to see really a lot of difference between KML and Google Earth, or a shapefile and QGIS, or ArcGIS Online, or ArcGIS, the desktop version. The same data is all there. We pack everything in. There's a bunch of different formatting on actually how to create the files, but in the end, they have the same information in them. So I'm not going to dwell too much on that. Okay, so let me go to the dashboard here. So that was how to download and get your own data. So now I'm going to go over how you would invite someone else. So maybe you don't want to worry about this. Maybe you just want to give access to somebody else, at the state level, Department of Ag level, or maybe one of the folks on your weed board, or whatever. Up to you. Kind of if you want somebody in, you can get them in. So again, I'm the administrator of my group. I can go over to this admin tab, and I have the ability to invite a user here. So I can add by email. So I'm gonna invite myself with a different email address. And here we have a role. So this is where I was kind of mentioned at the beginning: administrator, sprayer, reporter. So I'm going to add myself as a reporter. So this is like a different login and a different browser. I'll show you we'll kind of flip between what it looks like as an admin and what it looks like as a reporter. So I'm going to invite as a reporter. I've got another screen here. So this is where I have to pick an individual job. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't have a case where you just add a reporter to view all your jobs, and then anything that you create from here on all through the future, they get to see that. We figured we wanted to give you the power to be more specific about, hey, what do you want this person to access? Because you are sharing your data, so it should be something that you're doing very intentionally. So we have the jobs, and so I'm just going to give access to one job and kind of show you what this looks like. So I'm going to hit submit. And this person will be listed here, and they'll kind of have ability if you want to change their role or whatever. And if you want to double check, so you want to see what this person is. They're listed here. You want to see you come from the job side of it, I want to go see, hey, who is listed here? And that person will be listed. This is the name that that user has for me. Is this reporter SpraySync? And if you decide in the future, like, oh gosh, I forgot to add them to a job. Come to a job that you didn't give them access to, like let's say this demo job, and they'll be listed here, reporters not assigned to job, and you can say add to job, and they'll be right there. So, and you can always remove and get them out of there if you didn't want to have them have access to that job. So once you have a person in as a reporter, it's very easy to like kind of see what they did, see where they're linked to by viewing their profile, and also add them or delete them from different jobs. Okay, so now so where we sit is that this user has access to this, Iowa 2023 job. So I'm going to flip over here to another tab. I'm going to refresh, fun testing stuff. So, okay, so this is my view. I am logged in, different account. This is me viewing as a reporter. So notice I don't see all the other tabs, the jobs, the vehicles, the chemical loads. The purpose of this reporting user is really just to be able to see data, not to go change stuff. Anyways, and notice I gave that person access to just that Iowa roadside job. So if I click that, I don't see all of the jobs. If I switch back here to me as an admin, I've got a bunch of jobs here. But I only gave access to that one. So that person you give access to only has access to that one job. So it's kind of nice because then if they pick all jobs, they don't actually get all of your jobs. They just get everything you granted them access to. So it makes it super easy. So let's say that they want to do the same thing. They want to see 2022. They can filter. They just see that one job. Not like when we did the view all 2022, we saw like a ton of stuff with a bunch of different jobs. They don't see that right here. So they can do this. They have all the same tools that we do. Can go to the map. You'll see all the stuff just for that job on the map. And if they go back to the dashboard, and then they have all the same tools. They can export KML shapefile. They'll just get that one job. They'll get everything that's shown here to be able to do the exporting or whatever they want to. And then that reporter also, they could be added to multiple groups. So they might have a drop down here that it could have different, maybe if they're added to like several counties, it'll show, a bunch of list of counties that they have. So they flip between them one by one. So it's pretty easy for them to kind of make sure that they're getting the right data out of the person. And you could definitely, it'd be up to you, if you want to, let them get the data and then remove them again, then it's fine. Like you can remove them. They're not going to see anything anymore. So it's kind of all up to you. So just kind of in recap. So, I mean, there's really two main ways to sort of share your data and kind of do this year-end reporting. You can always download the file, create the file yourself, send it out, send it in an email, or throw it in, online file sharing thing like Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that. Or you can choose to kind of give them access and maybe streamline it so you don't have to worry about downloading stuff. As long as you know which job you want to share with them, that's really all you need to know. Add them to it, toss them in there, and then let them kind of go get the data when they need. And then that effectively, they can also, that's kind of live updated stuff too. So, if you give this to somebody and they even want to see what's going on, maybe next year in the middle, at the end of June, they want to see what you've done so far. Like they can go and pull a report at any time and see. So it'll be up to you. If you want someone to be able to just do the year-end thing, add them at the year-end, check when they've downloaded the stuff, and then remove them from there, or just leave them on there and then just give them access to the jobs. Usually you're creating a new job every year anyway. So remember that the other important thing here that I mentioned is they don't automatically get access to new jobs. You have to specifically add them to a new job. So that's hopefully to minimize any accidental, I didn't want to share that with this person or whatever. You can go and see, you can double check what they have in there and make sure that they don't have access to something that they shouldn't. So Anyways, well, that kind of covers sort of year-end reporting from the spray map side of things. And hopefully that's useful and it will help save everybody time. Thank you.